everybody else, you have to show up live from now on.
I always record. I didn't want to get all the the welcomes, but no, we're now recording. But there we go. So awesome. Jess, you want to say hello to everyone, Jess? Now we got Jess. We're recording now.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all on this beautiful Thursday morning.
For us, Holly's already at lunchtime, baby.
Yep.
JC's at, what are you? You're 2 hours ahead, right, JC? Hey, guys, what we'll do is we'll start the call. I'll mute everybody out, and then feel free if you guys got any questions, raise your hand, unmute yourself, whatever you want to do on that stuff. We'll try to keep it short and snappy so that we can get through everything we need to do that. And then, Jess, I'll unmute you so we can, boom, boom, you're unmuted, right, Jess?
Yes.
Perfect. So, guys, hey, real quick, this is social media, and we're going to be talking social media today. While I've got a couple announcements, do me a favor. If you have any questions in the chat room, the chat box, hit them on up in the chat box so that Jess and I can see them. And honestly, like, these could be like the most basic, dumb, stupid questions. Like don't feel like I had someone at the one-day mentorship at CanFit Pro ask some like really like, hey, this is a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. If you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. And between now and obviously retreat, we can help you guys at least get buttoned up with the basics, the simples, and then obviously there's more advanced strategies too. So bottom line is start asking those questions now in the chat room. Shout out, speaking of social media, Matt Aspew, Bobby Kelly, and Tiffany Gustafson. Yesterday, my podcast, I literally called them up. I was like, yo, Bobby Kelly, it's Todd Durkin. You're live. Q&A, baby. And they asked a question at the one-day mentorship at Idea World. I used their questions, and some of you that were there, I'm going to use your questions as well. So it was a shout out to them, and that podcast will air live. It'll air in several weeks from now. So again, in the mastermind, I'll be spotlighting you guys as well. If you want at the one-day mentorship, you could always go to just toddurkin.com and ask the Q&A section. Ask. I obviously know your names, and I'll do my best if it's a good or great question to choose yours so I can highlight you. And whether I call you up and you're actually live voice time on there, I'm going to announce this tomorrow on live, Facebook and Instagram live. Guys, that contest I was telling you about, we ended up with, I think it was 106,000 entries, 106,000 entries. That's crazy. And I'm going to talk about that more at retreat and how that happened, why that happened. We had a master plan, and it was really, really cool. But I don't want to get sidetracked. It was really successful. We have 7 winners that'll be announced tomorrow on live at 12 noon West Coast time as well. Remember, don't forget, I'm seeing Hugo just posted a question. Thank you, Hugo. Feel free, please, any of you listening in right now, to ask your questions so Jess and I can get on that in a few minutes. Many of you are either going or on the fence with the Mastermind Retreat. Guys, make it simple. Just go. September 26th to 29th, Vail, Colorado. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. If you have a wedding or a funeral, not your own wedding or funeral, be there, right? Be there at the retreat. Time for mellow yellow, time to get in the mountains, time to get away and work on yourself. There's strategy and there's tactics. There's strategy and there's tactics. We'll be working strategy and we'll be working tactics. It's time away. The investment in yourself is going to be worth it in the price of gold times 5 or times 10. Nothing replaces that. Guys, I'm not sharing all the content that we're doing in the mountains, by the way. I'm not sharing that. That's exclusive for those of you that are there and actually are going and showing up, because I'm going deep in the mountains. So please don't think, hey, I'll just get it via video. I'm not sharing it via video. I want the people who are investing in getting there to be there. Just be there. I promise you it's going to be awesome. Pete Holman is going to be there, guest speaker. Jess is doing a 2-hour workshop, that'll be worth like $1,000 right there alone. And again, I'm not giving that away here. You got to be there to get that. We'll also be recording 4 of you who will be there. It's going to be randomly chosen. We'll be doing an episode for the podcast there on that. And I have a surprise guest speaker as well. A surprise guest speaker there. Last time at the retreat, I had a pretty good guest speaker. Not bad. Drew Brees. I have another guest speaker coming. That's all I'm saying. Be there. Be there. No excuses. No excuses on that. registration, you know it, toddurkin.com/mastermind retreat. Jess, since I had you live, anything you want to say about the workshop that we're doing? And you had 2 hours of time going deep. We talked about it. We framed it up. And you want to share so these folks pull the trigger?
I have two things. Number one, 3 things. The first thing is I am in a mastermind as well. And in general, you cannot expect that you're going to make it in business if you're not showing up live to a mastermind that you're paying for every month. Just point blank. You have to go to this stuff. Like, you have to make it happen. It's not easy to make it happen, but in business, just as a businesswoman myself, you've got to make it happen. Like, not going to a mastermind is like not even 6-figure thinking, let alone 7-figure thinking. Number 2, my workshop, Todd knows, because I'm gearing up to do my own workshops next year. They start at $3,000 for my own workshops for my business. And because you guys are, because Todd's my favorite client, Todd gets special treatment from me, which nobody else gets. So you guys get access to me, like, through being at the mastermind, which if you guys were at last mastermind, I also am going to be doing some hot seating throughout the weekend, which also is worth like a lot. It's just invaluable because I'll sit down with people at the mastermind for like 45 minutes and give them a hot seat. Number 3, Zach and I have open spaces where Zach and I are flying in a day early to serve you guys. And we have 2 open spaces. We had 4 spaces, 2 already gone, for 2-hour mini content days. So also, they're at a super discounted rate. So if you want info on that, it's going to be like out of this world. You're going to get one-on-one attention. And I threw in 2 calls with me leading up to the retreat one-on-one. So people are getting like a lot of really great value from, even if you just show up, you don't do the mini sessions with Zach and I, you're still going to get amazing value out of the workshop. Todd and I have been really like working a lot together on what you guys actually need. And I've now been creeping on you guys for a year and a half. So I know exactly like,
Creeper.
Yeah, I'm a lurker. I don't know if you saw my GIF in the group.
I did.
A lot of the bushes, like that's me. And I know exactly where you guys are at, and I know exactly what's in your gaps, and I know exactly how to get you on the other end of that. So you want to come to the workshop, okay? And in these calls, they're amazing. They're awesome. We'll never be able to go as deep as we're going to go in those 2 hours in Vail. So cool. Just a heads up on that.
Just be there, guys. That bottom line. I just booked my tickets last weekend, by the way, for Vail. I think it was $347. Not bad rate for flying into Denver. So if you haven't booked it yet, book it. Just get it done. Flying to Denver Thursday. We'll start partying Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. Leave at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon out of Denver. We'll be done at 11 o'clock Sunday morning after a fellowship, and then time together on Sunday morning. So just be there. Easy, done, get it done. You got to bunk up, sleep on the floor, make it happen on that. If you have any questions, type them in the chat box. With that, by the way, I've talked about social media. One of the best things I've done in the last year are these content days where I take probably 3 to 4 hours on a typical content day and shoot several videos and pictures in different locations. And the reason why Zach and Jess are going is because I'm the one who said, hey, we should offer that for a few people who want to actually like use Zach and Jess to do that in a 2 hour or so slot where you can get a bunch of videos shot and professional pictures done. So that you can have at least a month of content out. That's what they're creating for you. So you're actually leaving with content where it's you for 2 hours with them shooting away, and they're going to coach you before you get there on your video, so you can just go in there and crush it, and how to maximize that as well. So just be there. DM Jess, because it all goes down in the DM. If you'd like to. And lastly, and then we'll go out all social media. Speaking of social media, the podcast, my podcast launched Monday. It's been like an all-out barrage on everyone. Julie, Jess, Emilianne, Kayla have all been working like mad. Jess and Zach and everybody's been like going nutty. So thank you guys for your comments. I'm looking at all the DMs and the comments and that stuff. Thank you for that. Today's episode is with Melanie. So if you haven't listened to that, I got some great feedback already on that with Melanie. And do us a favor, 5-star rating, please, and a review. Those of you like that have podcasts, and Robin, you have a podcast, if you are considering it, reviews really help us. So please, masterminders, if you're listening to this live, please leave a great review. If you're listening via recording, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. It helps us so we can help more people as well. So that's a huge favor I ask of you guys, maybe by the end of the weekend, if you can do that, it really helps us in there. And I'm going to be sharing at the retreat some of the greatest lessons I've learned. And here's what I've actually felt, just so you guys know, in the last 4 days from my own clients and members. I'm not talking like out in the stratosphere of like, hey, the block pockets everywhere. Like last night I was teaching class at 6 o'clock and we had, I don't know, I think it was 18 people in class. And about 10 of those people had already listened to at least one of the podcasts. And they were so appreciative. Matter of fact, Jess, you'll love this. One of the guys like, hey, can you do this every day forever? Because like, I want you to, I love listening. I've listened to every podcast. I want you to not do it twice a week. I want you to do it every day. I've already talked to Melanie. I started laughing again. Not a chance. Not a chance I can do it every day. That's a lot of work. But the buzz is, hey, we really like this. We learn more about you than I even knew. My thought was like in class, the buzz is like, hey, this probably, my guesstimate in 2020 and beyond, next year and beyond, I think a lot more people are going to be doing it for their actual community. Yesterday, I filmed Jeff Bristol. Most of you know Jeff Bristol's story. You know, he was a drug addict, was in jail. He was like, he had a real tough 20, when he was in his 20s, he had a tough time, almost died several times. And I interviewed him. My community is going to gel together, just knowing that most of them, many of them know, not everyone knows, and all of our new people coming in don't know. And when we can now highlight our members and team on the actual podcast, it's only going to be good for our business. So you may want to consider that as we work in the mountains about 2020 and our annual roadmap obviously coming up at the end of this year. It might be part of the strategy for you to gel your community as well as attract people in your community. I think sometimes people think in the podcast world, it's like, hey, you got to go reach out and you're trying to expand your brand and your branches throughout the nation and the country. It doesn't need to be that way. Although it has the opportunity to do that, it can actually be a means for you to actually just strengthen your community and attract new people to your community and highlight your members as well. Just say it. You might want to think about that, and we're learning how to do it at a high level as well. So that's all I have announcement-wise. I'll go as deep as you want to, but today's purpose of the call is actual social media. And Jess, before we dive into some of the questions, I see Bake's already asking questions. Janine's asking some questions in the chat room. Hugo's got some questions. We had a couple points we wanted to share first, and Jess is going to lead off, start teaching us. We said it'd be about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes of teach. Please ask the questions here in the chat room, and then we'll open up and answer some of these questions or any other questions that come in as well. So Jess, turn the show over to you, and let's rock and roll.
Awesome. So I have 5 things written down that I want to touch on, and I won't go like crazy deep into each of them because each of these 5 things you guys have to understand is like a full day training, you know? So, but I'm going to go over a higher level, ask questions throughout in the chat box, and then Todd and I will go through at the end and answer some questions.
Let's do it.
So basically like the 5 things that I want to go over with you guys today in terms of social media. The first thing is strategy. So just like base level, most of you guys are not actually speaking to your ideal clients. So, cause I lurk your pages and I am I'm everyone's ideal client in here. I just joined a gym. So, and I hate working out. So like most of you guys are on a mission to change the world through fitness and health and inspire people's greatness, right? So you got to like learn how to land with someone like me or within your local community. Most of you guys ask me questions like, how many hashtags do I use? Or what's the best time to post? The truth is, it doesn't matter if you're not landing with your ideal client. If you could post all the right formulas, all the magic pills, if you're not landing with your ideal client, it's pointless. So that's number 1. Your strategy needs to go and be mostly centered around how are you bringing value? How are you bringing value on a regular basis to your audience? And we're going to dive super, super deep into that piece and in the mountains. But I just want to touch on that for most people, they're super worried about how many times a day or how many hashtags. All of that's great. I can teach you all of that. But if that foundational strategy is broken, like it's like as if you're building a house and the foundation is cracked. Like I can give you the best of the best.
Yeah. So Jess, are you basically saying here with strategy, know your avatar and make sure you're hanging out on a platform that speaks to that avatar?
Yes, and make sure that your strategy, like meaning your content strategy, great question, Todd. Your content strategy, meaning like when you are creating shot lists, when you are posting, when you are putting together what your content is that you're either in any marketing, email marketing, newspaper, whatever, wherever you're going with your marketing, like social media, the strategy needs to go back to your avatar. And if you don't know your avatar, pick them and interview them.
Right. I think that's important to understand only because, I hear a lot now in my studies, guys, and I listen or read every day on something business related, and it seems like marketing and social media comes up a lot. But like, I hear that, LinkedIn is a great place, as far as if you want entrepreneurs and you want to connect with people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, who are professionals, Facebook, Instagram, all these different aspects. It's the difference between tactics and strategy. Tactics are, like you're saying, tactics of hashtags, who are you tagging? That's tactical. Strategy is who are you after and where are you going to find these people and what's the strategy to reach more people? Are you going to use a paid advertisement campaign? That's a strategic move on that. And I just want to make sure in all of these 5 that we have some takeaways here, Jess, today, that we've got 5 takeaways today that, hey, strategically, am I in the right place? Am I lurking in the right place? Am I hanging in the right place? Am I asking the right questions to my clients? Hey, if I know my client, like I had to literally yesterday on the phone help someone download and they have an iPhone, download the podcast app. It's like, I hear you. I don't even know where to download. Like, I don't even know how to get a podcast. So like, that's not good. Like they have to understand, like if the strategy is, hey, we're going to use podcasts, how to get that as well. So cool.
Yeah, you have to meet them where they're at. So the takeaway for this for you guys is what I want you to do is start rethinking your thoughts. So like when you are asking questions, when you are looking at creating your content, I want you to think about it differently. That's what my intention is. And so for you guys, one great actionable takeaway is talk to some people in your gym, some new members in your gym, some new people that you're training, and ask them what their pain points are in their everyday life. What are they struggling with in terms of health and fitness? And that way, online, like Todd was saying with podcasts or social media, you want to be like when they're away from the gym, you want to be there for them too. And you want to be providing them with value and be supporting them in their journey. So you might not, you might think, but it's really great to just I'm constantly asking Todd questions, my other clients questions about where they're at, what they're thinking, what their thought process is. Like we're constantly revisiting because they're constantly growing too. So just think of that as like a living, breathing, like organism, your ideal client. And then your strategy comes from there. So actionable takeaway, go into the halls of your gym today, go like meet some new members and ask them what their struggles are.
Yeah. Hey, let's go to number 2. And before we do that, hey guys, just so you know, this is not even you, Jess. One of the things I'm going to talk about in the mountains, I'm going to have you work on, because the mountains, we tend to write a lot. I'm going to work on this is forget just even social media. I want to know from a high performance perspective is like, how are we, pardon the pun, impacting our people the most? Because I think we get carried away on just social media sometimes. And I get it. I understand it. And that's where the world lives. I literally counseled a 9th grader yesterday with his mom who was berating him because the kid's always on social media on that stuff. But I want to make sure strategically, when you think about who you're working with, some of you, like me, have multiple people. We have kids and that young athletes. We have most of our avatars are that, 35 to 55-year-old female, 20 pounds overweight, 2.5 kids, and dog has 3 legs with a white minivan. It's like, if that's the avatar, we might be in different areas as well. But I want to just make sure that even now, you're kind of like not spending a lot of time and energy in places you shouldn't be also. And please don't think I'm not telling you to go start podcasting tomorrow on that. I want to just make sure you understand who are you speaking to and are we most effectively speaking to those people? I think that's what Jess is getting after. Number two, keep it moving.
Number two, in terms of Instagram, because I do follow a lot of you like online and creep you all and you message me all the time, is IGTV. So most of you guys are not utilizing IGTV yet on Instagram because the most questions I get from you guys are about Instagram. So number one, like action takeaway, do an IGTV in the next day. Do it. Don't overthink it. Like do it. And what were we going to say, Todd?
I'm gonna dumbify this real quick. Can you guys do me a favor, since most of you are at a computer? Can you put in the chat room right now, do you know how to actually post an IGTV? If you don't know, put no, because I don't know how. Like I actually do it for an IGTV. If you don't know, is a video over a minute. Could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever. And then on Instagram, it's IGTV. It's over a minute. Do you guys know how to actually upload it into IGTV? Because if the answer is no, then we're talking over your head. We need to make sure we even say, like, do it. Like, you might be like, I have no idea. You could Google it because Google has it, or we might need to teach that at some point, because if all the answers are no, I don't know how to use IGTV, I've never used it, I don't know how to use it, then we've got to figure out how to use it. Because I think what Jess is saying is IGTV is getting great engagement. Instagram loves when you use IGTV because you're going more than a minute. It becomes your own television show on this, and you don't have to get carried away. Hey, it has to be 59 seconds or a minute or less.
The thing is, too, though, you just Google it. Yep. Like you don't want to use you don't want to let that stop you. Like Google has an answer. If you don't know, just try. You can't fail. If you screw it up, it's okay. Like you did it. That means you win. So, number one, like going in, just number one, if you don't know how to do something, just Google it. YouTube has like a million tutorials, and it's just a learning curve. Every time there's a new something, you just Google it, because that is another thing that you guys will tell me, like, oh, I don't know how. Like, we got to be self-started.
Google,
yeah.
Baby.
I'm gonna always stand for your highest self and refer to you as that, which for you guys, that means Googling.
So there's a lot of people that is saying never used it. No. Perfect. Just use Google. If you don't know, reach out to me. I'll have Kayla, if you don't know, help, because she actually uploads many of my IGTVs and then gets them to Jess and we upload them. So it isn't hard. It probably takes, I think, about 3 minutes to do. The bottom line is, though, is many of your fears, is actually this going on for 2 minutes and like actually doing it. I think Jess's point is just buck up, find something you want to talk about, something that your ideal client avatar would ask you about: weight loss, hormones, feeling great, energy, something that you have that's going on in your life that like there's a common theme or principle that you could relate it to. Put it on that, make it more than a minute, and then just IGTV it and then tag me. And then we'll
yeah. And if you don't know what they should look like, check out Todd's page, and just take a look. Yours don't have to be super edited. It can just be a selfie video. Like, anything is better than nothing. And for most of you guys, you have to keep it under 10 minutes, a logistical thing, unless you have a certain number of followers, then you can go up to an hour. So keep it under 10 minutes. A really great trick with this is go live on Facebook or Instagram, download it, like on your phone, click save, and then just upload it to IGTV. And honestly, like what Todd said, this is the main thing that holds most people, not just you guys, most people back on social media is their mindset, is just them being scared to put themselves out there. And I totally get it. It's scary, but you have to think about like all the people out there that are waiting for you to actually do this so that their lives can change. That's what it's about, Like sometimes we feel self-conscious on certain days and we don't want to shoot, or Todd goes through that. He's like, Jess, I don't like this shirt. It looks stupid, blah, 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 whatever. And then he goes, whatever.
Was that an impersonation of me, by the way?
Yeah. But he knows. I'm like, Todd, it looks great. It's fine. You're in your own head. We are our own worst critics. None of you guys, when you see that shirt that Todd thinks is stupid, think that. You think, wow, and the comments we get are, wow, thank you for this. I needed this today. That's what we get. We don't get stupid shirt. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about us. It's about them. And that's like the number one thing to remember. But with IGTV, like super value. I mean, most of you guys, like 3 ideas for you with IGTV. Just throwing some ideas out there for you guys. Number one, like a do's and don'ts video on how to do basic like squats, basic, common mistakes that people make in their diet, how to fix your form. Everything I'm teaching you guys, you can apply to your gyms. Even like interviewing certain members who have had like a transformation, like they've lost a lot of weight with you guys, or they've hit a certain goal with you guys, and you interview them and you ask them what it took, and what it took from them, so that other members can see like, wow, or when people come through your door, if I'm an ideal client and I'm walking in and I'm listening to an interview about somebody else at your gym who has the result I want, who got it through you, I'm going to be able to see myself in that and be like, wow, amazing. So those are some ideas. And then of course, like sharing your story. I saw somebody being like, oh, maybe share your story. 100% share your story. Share your story and how it relates to your people, like how they can see themselves through you. And that's great content that you can also upload everywhere else, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere else. But just show up and do it, because the longer you wait, the longer that you're waiting to fail.
Good. Love it.
Next, stories. So
wait, is this number 3?
3.
Before we go there, I thought you had 3 points to IGTV, but that's all right.
I did.
Oh, perfect. I was responding to Brady's comment to wear the Fearless shirt he sent me, because I wear it. By the way, I love when you guys send me shirts, and I wear them on a lot of this stuff, because I wear that, manifest your great, all this stuff that you guys send me. So that's not the shirt I was wearing when Jess, I don't even know how she impersonated me, but whatever that was. So Robin has a great question. How frequently would you suggest, Jess, we do IGTV videos? Like once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week? What do you think?
Just once a week, because most of you guys I'm seeing are saying no, you've never used it. So just once a week is great. Just get it going. And then once you're doing that, you can message me and I can give you feedback and post in the group even and ask for feedback in the mastermind group. Utilize the mastermind, and I can give you feedback in there as well. I had somebody, I gave them feedback on their Facebook Live show and they tweaked it and it went awesome. So, so just once a week is great. And as you get in that rhythm, then you can start upping it to twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever's sustainable. But once a week right now, I think would be awesome for you guys.
Before we move on, Robin, because this is applicable for you, is what I would do, so you don't have to keep creating new content. You are always recording podcasts. So what I would suggest is in the middle of your podcast is that you go live on your phone for 10, 15 minutes or something like that. Then people can listen, and that becomes your IGTV. And also is seeding your podcast as well. So in the copy, you could actually promote your podcast. They get the IGTV. A Gary V is, he does everything. It's ubiquitous across the board. And sometimes like, well, should I always go live on all my podcasts? Am I giving away the content? The bottom line is, where are people hanging out? That's where you got to find. You don't know that, because like I had a kid, one of my high school kids, listen to the podcast the other day. Okay, he's listening to the podcast. He's also on some of the other newer platforms that I'm not on as well. So where are your people hanging out? That might be something that you want to do. So good question. Sorry, I like the questions though.
Robin, are you coming to the mountain retreat?
So sadly, I am not. It is Spartan World Championships. I know you called me out. I have been to the mountains. I love the mountains. The mountains are a game changer, and I highly recommend it. It is Spartan World Championships weekend. It is my mecca, and it's everything I've worked for all year. It's the one thing. It is literally the one.
Oh man, I was gonna say we are gonna go over a lot of like how to repurpose stuff. So, bummer.
I mean, Todd knows how much I believe in the mountain retreat.
It changed your business. I love it.
Changed my business. The reason I have a gym.
Number 3.
I hate missing it, but
that's okay. That's okay. I was just wondering because we're going to be going over a lot of that stuff. Number 3, stories. So first of all, to everyone, take out your phone right now. Take out your phone and do an Instagram story right now.
Yeah, baby, let's do it.
So everybody, take an Instagram story and tell the world what you're doing. Right now is a perfect opportunity.
You're getting better. That's what you're doing. Is you're getting better. Get your mind right.
Yes, you're learning about how to use Instagram stories. So what you want to do is you want to take out your phone and do a quick Instagram story.
I love stories. I love stories.
Stories are a game changer for so many reasons. Like you have to be doing it. It is it is the way to connect with people. Stories are actually even more successful than your Instagram feed nowadays. People spend more time in their Instagram stories, like a lot more time. So what do I do with stories? Jess, how do I do it? Right now is a perfect example. You're learning, you're growing. Take out your phone, take a boomerang, take a picture, tag Todd, tag me. Guess what? When you're doing that too, Todd's going to repost that. Why? Because I'm going to go in his account and repost it.
I actually repost a lot of them, though.
You do, but I do too.
I overpost.
And sometimes I have to go back and delete. That's another good point. So this is the point I want to make about Instagram stories as well, is a lot of you guys want to know like how to up your Instagram game. And one of the best, quickest ways you can up your Instagram game, Todd, this is a lesson for you too, okay? So I need you to pay attention.
I'll listen.
So basically, you want to make sure that your Instagram stories have generally a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a story. So you're telling a story to your audience, right? So whether that is the beginning of the day, I do that a lot. If you guys follow me, I'll track my progress in my checklist if I have nothing else that I want to share that day, just so that I'm on there. And I'll say at the beginning of the day, like what I'm doing that day. Then in the middle of the day, I'll update on how I'm doing. And then at the end of the day, I'll update how I did, and I'll give myself feedback publicly. Like, hey, this didn't work. Did anyone got an idea of how I can tweak it? You know, Brian might be like, Jess, you got to snack more. You got to have more carrots, whatever, throughout your day. If I'm asking for feedback on fitness, who knows? But the important thing is you want to have a beginning, middle, end. So sometimes that's even you just going on and doing a quick selfie video of, hey guys, I'm here today. I'm going to share with you, about 3 ways you can like up level your nutrition today, or 3 ways you can avoid temptation today. And you give that in your Instagram stories. Step 1 is add in more of the good. Take out less of the, that leaves less room for the bad. I don't know. I don't even know the answer. But number 2 is, then you go into number 2, number 3. And then at the end, you wrap it up in a bow and you're done. So people really like that. People don't love when they're so like, I get, I'll like a lot of times when Todd is traveling and he has someone else that's not me doing his Instagram stories, or he's left his own device.
Most of them, by the way. I do 90% of them.
Yeah, which is scary. I'm just kidding. Because he'll upload way too many and then everyone drops off and then it affects our numbers, which is a high level thing that most of you guys don't need to worry about. But I'll go in and like delete a bunch, unless it's like the podcast, which of course the podcast, we leave it up because it's like a social proof thing. It's a different strategy. Or the reposting thing, that's a different strategy. But if he's at Idea World, we don't want like people to be sitting there for an hour watching his Instagram stories, because people drop off. And then what happens is people don't want to watch Todd's Instagram stories anymore. Like you guys will, because you're a part of his tribe, but we have to think about other people who are coming in as well, who don't know you. So we want to make sure that the stories, how many stories, I just got a question. There's no like right or wrong, but I would say like you want to have somewhere between like 6 and 15 stories each day. But if you guys are just getting started, because you have to think they're only 15 seconds or an image, it's not a lot of work. But if you're just getting started, just 3 or 4 every day, of you cooking or teaching a class or with your kids or watching your favorite show and you reacting to your show or whatever that looks like at first, just to get yourself going. But a great number to goal for is between 6 and 15, because that's enough where people can start to get to know, like, and trust you, and get to know, like, and trust your gym, your business, your product, your service. But it's not too much where they're like, okay, Todd, we get it. You're at spitting out water at Idea World again. So, you want to make sure you're being strategic about it and not overdoing it, but you definitely need to be doing it. And also the great thing about stories is, like, many people get really worried about their feed or posting something that's going to live forever. Stories go away after 24 hours. So it's really a great place for you to play and just be vulnerable, be you, like, just go for it and have people get to know you without any pressure. Because there's no one expects Instagram stories to be perfect. They just expect you to be there. That's all it is. So let's see.
Hey, Sarah asks, are Facebook stories important too? I think it's a good question.
No.
But like Brady said, you can tag them, which I do, because why not? It's Facebook, so I tag them. So, but yeah, the reach on that is not good.
Yeah, we automatically upload it. I automatically upload it for all my clients, but I never see any like anything come from it. It's a different platform. Facebook wants to make Facebook like cool again. And so they're trying to do stuff like Instagram stories, but most people on Facebook aren't watching Facebook stories. It doesn't hurt you to share them, but I would not say to like, go to Facebook to create stories, go to Instagram to create stories, and then share them to Facebook. And then number 4 is social proof. So this is huge on any platform, especially for you guys. Like, you want to make sure that you're sharing social proof. What does social proof mean? What does social proof mean, Jess? It means for you guys, Transformation Tuesdays, sharing the transformations, like showing people on a regular basis in your Instagram stories, IGs, TVs, email campaigns, all of it. You want to make sure you're showing, especially for a gym or a trainer or anyone in your guys's niche and industry, you need to be showing people what's possible. You need to be helping them see that they can do it on a regular basis. And it also up levels you guys and makes you guys the expert and the influencer. So testimonials, which is great. If you don't have testimonials, definitely make sure you're talking, like I said, to your ideal client, asking them what they're liking, and then asking them for a testimonial. They'll write you a testimonial that you can use and screenshot and put it in your Instagram stories, put in your feed, put in your Facebook, LinkedIn, your email blast. Interviewing people, definitely before and afters for you guys is huge. And even interviewing someone, like how they feel at the before and after of the journey, like what they're feeling like now, like asking them how they feel. Because people say they want to get in shape for a certain reason, but normally it's about because they want to feel good in their skin and they want to feel happy. And so like documenting that process is huge. So that's a huge thing that is super like easy and actionable that will help you on all of your marketing fronts.
Mm-hmm. Hey, one thing I would add to that, guys, on social proof that's really simple, is I'm finding that it actually doesn't take as much work now as it used to. It seems like it used to be like you had to go out and get the before and after pictures and have people write up testimonials and that stuff. Nowadays, what I'm finding, and even our clients right here at Fitness Quest 10, is most of them are DMing me or messaging me in Facebook and sharing their life, or they're sharing their victories or wins, how much they love Fitness Quest 10. I have a client yesterday that she had a kidney transplant, and her husband was the one who donated his kidney to her. And like, you talk about social proof, she actually messaged me like a really, really cool, not too personal, but personal enough. And I said, hey, would you mind if I share this? You could take a snippet of someone, what they DM you, message you, and say, would you mind if I use this sentence right here? And then you could even post it on stories, right? Or you could post it on your social media on that, because they're giving it to you in a different way now. It's different than 2 years ago. It's different than a year ago. And I'm finding that a lot of that's happening right in your own Facebook Messenger or your DM. So just be aware of how it's coming to us now is different. If you've been in this game for more than 5 years, it's way different ball game on how people are delivering their messaging to you. And I'm talking even the 50-year-old, well, these people are in their mid-50s, the transplant, but all the time. Had a 60-year-old the other day DM me in Instagram, about, their walk. And I'm not saying that you just want to take what they give, copy it, put it in your stories. You'd want to ask permission, but I do that all the time. And even now, we're doing that with the podcast on social proof, what people are loving. Just a way to think about, like, it's different than it was. Don't be entrenched in traditional wisdom that it has to be the same way that it always was, because the way we're getting it now is different, and we have to react to where they're at. So good point number 4, Jess, social proof on that. I like it. And we just lost Jess. Good. So I'll keep until Leslie, thank you for that. I'm going away. She'll probably dial back in. Let me answer some of these questions on that are coming in. So please keep them coming on this, and she'll have one more to go. How much time do you spend developing content versus interacting with people on social? Bake, It's a good question, Brian. Hey, Jess, welcome back. Let me answer this question, and then you go to number 5. Number 1, interacting with people on social media is daily. It's every day, right? So we're always interacting. I'm always interacting. I see everything that comes in. I don't answer everything, but especially on the DM, I am in there. And then developing the strategy on that, developing content. We do a content day once a month, ideally, on that. Which is where we're getting kind of the higher level, the videos, the pictures. And then Jess and I are working closely together. Like even for today's post for Melanie, I put that content together in my notes section and then gave it to her so she can kind of upload everything, put her loving touch on it. But I think the bigger picture really is when you say how much time you spend developing content, to take a step back, but to her point number 1 on strategy is understanding strategy-wise, where are we going? What are our 9 buckets that we're after? Because those buckets kind of drive everything. And I was sharing that at CanFit Pro. If most of you guys were not there, obviously, but at CanFit Pro, talking about like we have 9 buckets, and those 9 buckets, what are the buckets we're trying to drive? Right? What do we want to grow? What part of your business do you want to grow? Fitness Quest 10 is one of our buckets. The mastermind is one of our buckets. The 3.5-day mentorship is one of our buckets. So like whatever those are, that drives a strategy to each of those. So, and again, we're going to get into this way deeper at retreat and then annual roadmap coming up with Jess and what we're doing with all of that aspect. But like, think of it in buckets of, who are you, where are you going to put your time and attention? Because you can't do everything. And that's the part that drives me nuts, because I do want to do everything. Unfortunately, I only do 9, and that 9 maybe for most, even for Jess, like, dude, we should do like 4 or 5. No, sorry, we got 9, unfortunately, but define what your buckets are and then do that. So Jess, welcome back. We're on to number 5, so we don't lose you again if you're there. Jess, are you there?
I am here. My internet went out. So this is the beauty of life, right? Okay, so I'm on my phone now. So sorry if I'm doing a shaky selfie video now. And to add to that, content, the most important thing with creating content is how you're spending your time, like doing it, and how you're spending your time. So just make sure that you are first and foremost, like we said at the beginning, talking to your ideal client and making sure that the content you're creating is actually wanted and is actually valuable. The rest of it, as you grow, I spend a lot of time on Todd's content, like a lot. So, but right now, for where most of you guys are at, you just need to do the right things at the right time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and don't let that, by the way, don't let that intimidate you, because we have a lot of different platforms. Don't go on a lot of different platforms. Go on one, right? So don't be like, oh, well, we have a lot. Don't do one and do it well, so you don't feel overwhelmed and anxious and stressed, like, oh my gosh, I have to do everything. I hope that this call is like, okay, I'm going to hone in on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm going to do it really well. I'm going to have strategy. I'm going to use maybe IGTV. I'm going to hit some stories, 3 a day initially. I'm going to get some social proof on that. And then the 5th one is, Jess, is what?
The 5th one is to create conversation. Create conversation. So Todd touched on this. We didn't have a pre-call, but he kind of already said this within the last point. But the most important thing you can do on any social media with any social media campaign, every single campaign that I create for Todd, there is an aspect in there that's all about, like, if it's a sponsorship campaign, if you're wondering what I mean by campaign, like the different things we're doing and how I'm tracking results for it. Like, a huge piece of it is always creating conversation. That's a huge results indicator for me and for you guys too. So for example, if you make a post and you get a lot of messages and a lot of comments or a lot of attention from that post, that is a great indicator for you that that's the type of content that people want from you. How do you even do this? You have to lead them. So for example, like, if people don't know how to get in touch with you, they won't. So make sure that within your posts, you're encouraging, within your videos, your emails, everything, you're encouraging people to, hey, reply to this email with this. Hey, DM me if you want to talk about this. Hey, send me a message or comment if you need help with this. Like, I do that all the time. And I actually coach many of you. I spent like an hour on Sunday with one of you guys in DM just coaching you on how to improve your bio. So, and that's because I literally made an Instagram story that said, hey guys, I have like a couple hours. If you want some help, just DM me what you're struggling with. And then you can go in and support. Like, for example, when Todd's on a layover and he gets his, he gets his flight delayed 5 hours, sometimes what I like to do is be like, okay, Todd, like go into, like, let's make a question sticker and people ask you questions and then you go in and you can answer them. Things like that. Like, there's really easy ways, but just make sure that within everything that you're creating, you're encouraging conversation. You're saying like, hey, send me a message if you need help cleaning up your diet. Hey, are you really struggling with temptations? Like, is that what's getting you, like the midnight snack? Shoot me a message, tell me it in detail, and I'll help you. That also gives you like social proof, because they're going to come back to you in a week and be like, hey, oh my gosh, Brian, when you gave me that tip a week ago, it really changed everything for me. Guess what? Screenshot, social proof. So it creates conversation. It makes them know that they can come to you. It makes them trust you. And that's going to create also just psychologically, when you're asking people to take actions and they're doing it, that is creating a buyer for you because they're learning how to take action for you. So that's a really good thing to keep in mind as well, is just making sure that you're creating conversations, but that also you're going back in and you're actually messaging. Like, sometimes I'll shoot Todd when he's really busy a message and be like, hey, I went through the DMs. I responded to everything I could. There are XYZ people that I need you to respond to. And then he knows he's going to go in and do it. We don't like to let him sit for a long time because you need to make sure that you're actually responding to them so they keep messaging you. But creating conversation is absolutely huge, and it's a game changer.
Yeah, I would say, guys, just to think about this, create conversation is, I keep thinking about live, by the way, like Instagram Live or Facebook Live. It allows you to create a conversation because you're asking for questions, you're asking for comments on there. And when you see comments, you're just literally having a conversation, although it might be with a screen. It's kind of scary times when you think about, like, in 5 years from now, when our 18-year-olds are now 23. Those are our clients. Like, how are they going to be communicating? We do have to get more comfortable with creating conversation in the DM and on lives on that to ultimately lead to live conversation, because the beautiful thing about what we do is we interact and we coach and train people. Most of us live in training, and some are doing online, but people still, a basic need, like, right, Maslow's hierarchy is there's a personal need for human touch, right? You need human energy as part of your life. So how do you create that conversation? I think is really important, and we can use the phone or computer as a weapon, as a means to do that. So I think it's a great point there, creating conversation on that. So great point. Hey, let's get to some questions. We got about 8 minutes left here, Jess, and I want to get to some because they're important. Hugo, first question. You feel you get more traction on your personal Instagram or the Fitness Quest 10 Instagram? The answer is personal Instagram. How do you run your Fitness Quest 10 Instagram? I'd say it's team-led. Although we do have content, Jess doesn't help me with the Fitness Quest 10 side of things. Both McKenna here and our team, what I would say is, guys, our team, post on your personal account, tag Fitness Quest 10, and we can share on Fitness Quest 10's Instagram. So you want your team to be posting on Instagram as well, tagging your studio so you can repost that. So your team is helping you with that also. And then knowing what you do. Here's the bottom line. I think rookie marketers, young marketers, not sophisticated marketers, are always posting about their new upcoming fall camp. Like, I heard a Gary Vee thing a couple weeks ago. I thought it was awesome. Like, are you creating for you or are you creating for them? What's the value in for them? Like, cool. Like, we know you want, and we want, and I want to sell out this fall boot camp. But if it's always about the fall boot camp, how about making it about them and all about them? And then obviously how in that you have an option to help them with this problem that they're having, and the solution is the fall boot camp, versus just making about the fall boot camp and it's $99 or $199 or whatever. It's keep adding value to your members. Keep adding value. Give, and give on that stuff. And even myself, I'm always like, is the message in this post, personally and on Fitness Quest 10, is it valuable, or is it just about me? Is it valuable on that, or is it about me? And I try to make it as valuable as possible, so it's about them, because when it's about them, they're like, oh, okay, I see how he can help, or how Fitness Quest 10 can help me with my problem. Because with them, what's in it for me? All of us on this line right now, myself included, it's like, hey, is that program valuable? Hey, is the retreat going to be valuable? Is the mastermind valuable? Is it? And if it's valuable, you're going to invest in it. And if not, you're like, I'm not going to Fitness Quest 10. It's not valuable to me. If it's going to change my life, it's going to heighten my mindset, my spiritual, my physical, I'll pay whatever. If you understand the value of what that's worth. And if you don't, then it's my fault for not making it understood to you as a client of Fitness Quest 10 of this isn't an expense, it's an investment. It is, because the price of a transplant, or the price of dis-ease, is way higher than the $250, $300, $1,200 you're spending with me a month. Right on that. So it's the position again, and that's our own mindset and our own energy, how it has to shift with the value that you lead to your people. That now has to come, not just through how I'm saying it to you, has to come through our social media on all aspects. How is that being communicated? So Hugo, I hope that helps. It's kind of like team led. We do have someone, at the helm on that, but people love doing business with people. People don't love doing business with a company. You got to make it.
Yeah. I would say, because I run a gym account now, and I will say, like, it's a lot harder to get results from a gym's account. Like, it's great to have it and do it, but people connect with people. So it's great for you guys to also be building a personal brand as well.
Mm-hmm. Janine asks, should you have the same content on Facebook and Instagram? What are you must-have items? This is a good question. What are the must-have items you should have on your business page? Are highlights good to have that show your different concentrations? Good question.
That's like 5 questions. What's the first part of it?
Basically, should you have the same content on Facebook and Instagram?
Yes, just right now for you guys, yes. Just make sure you're tweaking it. So like when we post Todd's Instagram posts to Facebook, I always go in and make sure that it's all formatted for that particular platform. So, yeah. And same thing with LinkedIn. So the way I post a video on Instagram versus Facebook versus LinkedIn is different. If you need guidelines on that, check out Todd's Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for a little guideline, and I can always give you more on that if you catch me at the retreat. But yeah, I would say definitely be posting everything everywhere. In terms of highlights, I don't know if you're talking about highlights on Instagram, on the Instagram like page, the highlights, the story highlights. Yes, you need them, like 100%. You have to think of when people land on your page, you have about 3 to 5 seconds to convert them. And the more you can have on there for them to see who you are and what you do and start to get to know you, the more you're going to be able to attract in the right people. So definitely be doing that. If you need help with that, you can send me another message about that too.
Yeah, and let me follow up on that. Janine, what I would say is, and here's how I think about a lot of things, and social media is just one part of everything, right? It's sometimes we think it's everything, and we get anxiety because of we feel like, by the way, even I often feel like I'm not doing enough. Y'all feel that way, right? I'm not doing enough. I do too. It can never be enough. So you got to get over that thinking. There's good, better, best. Good, better, best. Good is share the same thing on Instagram and Facebook because it's easy. And sometimes we do that. Sometimes it's one of my pet peeves. Like if our Instagram post is the exact time on Facebook and we don't change it, it's good. People are still getting it. But Facebook, the interaction is not good. Better is tweaking actually tweaking how it looks, because Facebook is much more reading more like paragraphs and not like emojis everywhere and that. And best in my world it's Facebook. It's like it's written different. It's different copy. And sometimes maybe on Facebook, if we were at our best, we would be also sprinkling in different content on Facebook, because who's watching on Instagram for us is different than our Facebook. And our Facebook would have a lot of old MRMs, which the content would be, the copy would be completely different. And we're not posting the old MRMs on our Instagram all the time. right? But our Facebook, we could have 2 or 3 or 4 posts a day. That would take like another 1 or 2 people helping me with that, and I'm not there. We're just not doing that. To me, that would be the best world, situation. Good, better, best. Good, better, best. Best is like, it's different and everything else. But I think the better is they're feeding each other, but they're just tweaked a bit, as Jess mentioned, so that same copy, similar copy, the format's a little bit different, and it's good content. It's really good content, and it's serving people, right? So
another thing to keep in mind is sometimes I'll post, like if I'm doing a screenshot of someone, sending Todd a message saying, oh, this program changed my life, and I put it in the story, I'll post that to his Facebook page feed. Because your feed on Facebook is not like, it doesn't really matter how your grid looks or whatever. There's no grid. It's less visual. So you can share, like, you can be a little less picky about what your imagery is on Facebook. It's more about just getting the content there. Whereas Instagram, you're a little more picky about the feed, and the stories are the less picky part. So you can do stuff like that too. And you can always schedule like out multiple things. Like sometimes I'll schedule out like 2 to 3 posts on Todd's Facebook versus, like he said, with old MRMs or old whatever, if I think it's relevant, or pushing a merch or something. And I'm not going to necessarily do that on Instagram and LinkedIn because they have different demographics. So that's a good point there too.
Great. Brady, Todd encouraged me to start a live show a while back. I held Friday at the same time on Facebook, then used the live shows to go on IGTV, and people loved it. Now I have the entire season, 16 episodes there forever, plus any other videos you want to add. Fantastic. I just got the perfect screenshot of Todd. Perfect.
Awesome.
On that, Maya, you're eating a Panera salad. Fantastic. Y'all are funny. I love it. Jess, yes, cool. Thank you, Jess and Todd. Robin, cool. Any other questions before we wrap it up? It's 11 o'clock here on the West Coast, 2 o'clock back on the East Coast. Any other questions you got? That'd be a great time. A lot of you guys got to run. Brian, thank you for all you're doing on the My Zone stuff. All you guys, fantastic. Couple things, guys, and then I'll wrap it.
Do me a favor, you guys, and send me either a DM or comment in the mastermind what your number 1 takeaway was.
Cool.
Please. That's like a super, like that is another thing you want to do when you're doing trainings and stuff, is just asking people what landed for them. But yeah, if you guys could do that, that'd be really helpful.
Just a couple insights into my brain here, guys, for a second. If you're feeling anxious or stressed about the amount of content that you feel you need to create on a regular basis, don't always feel you got to keep creating content. What can you document with what you're already doing? I do like what Jess often says, and if you look, even yesterday, I had a beginning to an end to the podcast episode, a shot of, hey, I'm going to shoot some podcast episodes now, or I'm going to go coach my high school football team now. I'm going to have a new hat, and then show the 2 or 3 stories, and then have an outro. I call it an outro afterwards of a little recap or wrap of that. But just think about document what you're already doing and overcome the mindset of they don't care or no one wants to see me doing that. Your clients actually do. And I think this is a big thing that we get stuck and blocked in our mindset of they don't care what I'm eating or they don't care that I'm training right now. They actually do, especially when you tag them. I'll share this story and I'm going to share it now. I'm going to post a video of Melvin Gordon, the holdout running back for the San Diego. There I go again. Los Angeles Chargers. I had him today, and he was crushing it. And what I will do in my stories, and you won't even see it, I will tag ESPN, Bleacher Report, and this is what I'm doing. No one sees it. And I'll hit Bleacher Report, 10 million followers, NFL Network, and I'll put it lower in the stories, and I'll show Melvin working, and I will have a comment from Bleacher Report probably within an hour, and they'll want to reshare that to their stories on Bleacher Report or ESPN or NFL Network on that. You can tag people without them even seeing it if you want, and it's going to pop up in their DM. Like I get people all the time DMing me, whether it's actually I see it or I don't. You can actually hide it as well in that. Just slide it down under where they can't see it, and that's another way to reach out. So if you want to reach out to any of the podcasters that you want to connect with, you can certainly tag them in some of your stuff. How do you serve those people more? My point is, Melvin, I captured a couple of his things today, right? A couple of his exercises. You can then tag what you're doing with your clients and tag them or tag someone you want to see you doing your thing. So you're documenting, you're not always creating. And to me, that helps ease off the, like, I always have to be creating content. You can't do it all on that aspect. Is you just got to make sure that you can create, document what you're already doing. And that in essence is creating content. Cool. Got it?
Yeah, and once you learn how to do that, it'll come so naturally to you. I remember when we were at Idea World walking the floor, and Randy Hendricks called us scrappy, because that's just like what my brain does automatically now. Is I'm like, okay, we're going to Idea World. That means that Todd's going to be walking the floor. What can we get out of Todd already walking the floor, already networking with the people, Tony Horton, all these people who we're going to run into? Like, how can we do that? Okay, well, we're going to bring the microphones and we're going to get podcast episodes. For you guys, it might be just bringing your phone and taking a video. So that's definitely a really important thing, is just learning how to rewire and take people behind the scenes with you and show them what you're doing, that and how you're doing it and why you're doing it, and unpacking that for your ideal client. That's huge. Yep.
And Brady, because it's a tactical question, and tactics are good. Is there an app to put together my 15-second clips into one long clip? I have all these stories that I could create a fun IGTV video, which I could link them together.
So Brady, what I would say to that, there's no app necessarily. There is like iMovie if you have a Mac, or I know that non-Macs have that too, and you can download it and do it that way. One trick for you guys that really is helpful is, a lot of times if you're going to be doing something like that in stories that you think might be valuable, try to film it on your phone first and then break it into stories on Instagram. That way you don't have to go back. It's a lot easier to do that. And you can do that with Storyo, like the app I was telling you guys about. I'll still do that, because now, even though Instagram does let you upload a minute at a time, a lot of times it uploads wrong, like in the wrong order. So even like I'll still use Storyo over that. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. But you can definitely, if you want, you can try InShot. I've talked to you guys a lot about InShot. You can try, Brady, and see if InShot will let you do that on your phone. Otherwise, iMovie would be probably your best bet.
Yeah, and Brady, I use iMovie myself. My kids taught me how to use iMovie. So I'll take, sometimes if I happen to store it and I didn't hit a video, because I think that's good. It's one thing I've made that change in the last several months since Instagram changed it, and they used to not let you cut it up. Now it automatically cuts it up. Like Melvin today was doing a Bulgarian split squat, and I videoed it in regular video versus storing it and let it roll into 3 stories. So this way, if I wanted to post on regular Instagram, I can do that. And if I want to take him then later on, we did a complex set of, I call it the TD jump complex, 5 squat jumps into leapfrogs. So we did our Bulgarian split squats, 45-pound weights, boom, drop set it, and then squat jumps, leapfrogs. I have those video clips. I can iMovie that, and I can do that. I don't need anyone else. I can iMovie that, boom, put it on up if I want to. I would then probably, typically the way it works is, you could then post it, or if you're in a hurry, what I'll do is I'll send it to Jess. Jess, hey, here's this for Melvin, and then she'll kind of make it look pretty as far as like the emojis and stuff like that. It's probably going to take another 15, 20 minutes, but I use iMovie. You can figure it out. It's not that hard if you don't know how to use it.
Yeah, I would say, guys, like the number one thing I want you to take home is to just like come from a place of service and curiosity with your ideal client, like curious, want to know what they want. And your ideal clients, like Todd said, you'll have multiple, but what do they need? What do they want? What would help them? And then just executing in that way. Don't make it too hard on yourself. Don't think you need to do everything Todd and I are doing right now. Just start, just go for it. Just hold the vision of, you're going to change lives and impact the world by doing what you guys are doing, because you are. And from that space, like, it's going to be a lot more fun for you too, versus like feeling frustrating. So yeah.
Yep. Jess, thank you very much for today's call. I really appreciate you, as always. You're doing great work for not only me, because you're doing awesome work for me, but for serving the mastermind. I know it's valuable information and content. Guys, we have a resource here with Jess that if you Google it and can't figure it out at a higher level, strategically and implementation, Jess is our go-to person. So Jess, thank you very much. I'll leave it with this, guys, is this phone right here. If any of you like me, if this thing develops a little anxiety in you, right? It gets a little overwhelming sometimes because you never feel like you're doing enough. Turn it off. turn it off sometimes. One of my best practices, early morning, I feel Instagram, like I better check my DMs and stories and all that stuff before I go out and get my workout in. If I do that, I'm screwed, like literally screwed, because 15 minutes will go by and I just wasted my time, and it affects my workout and it affects everything from a stupid Instagram story and DM that I'm going to respond to before I go out. And next thing I know, that workout is compromised and I'm compromised. Guys, don't let social media overtake your life that it affects you personally. You know as well as I do, you have to be your best personally, so you can use social media as one of the strategies. Number one, change lives in the trenches. Change lives in the trenches. If you can use social media to capture that, fantastic. Use it as a tool to strategically help you grow your business. It's not our life. It's becoming our life, and it's overtaking our lives in many ways. So have some guidelines for you. For me, early morning, it's no time. It's no, until I start moving my body, I'm not turning that phone on and I'm not checking that drug. It's like, dang, it's like sitting there waiting for me, calling me, talking to me. My phone is off and I can feel people wanting me through there, and I'm not responding. And if I do, I'm in trouble. And at night, be careful again, because it will affect you, especially if you happen to read something that isn't so pleasant, or you have a hater or a naysayer that's questioning you on something. It'll affect that before. So just know when you're going to be on, you can be on, but set guidelines. And if it's a weekend, you're going to turn it off, or you take a technology fast for 6 hours. It's really cleansing and detoxifying to do that, because if you're always on your phone, it can contaminate the way you think. And I just want to remind you that, because that's something that I am daily reminding myself, that if I get sucked into the vortex of always being on 24/7, that affects me mentally of not being my best. And JC was asking me earlier on, like, what are some things that you're doing really well right now? That's one of them. A lot of stuff's going on, but I'm not letting that world, like from the time I wake up to the time I go down, is I have to react to everyone else. No, I'm not going to do that, because I know if I do that, then I can't get my workout in the way I want to. And I can't get my reading time in at night, because I'm checking DMs. That's everyone else's agenda. And I'm not reading the book I'm reading right now, which affects me positively if I'm reading on that. So just make sure that we're doing that. And I think it's a great way to use social media as a tool. Cool. That's all I got to say, guys.
Another great tip with that, Todd, real quick, you guys, if you are going to go on Instagram and scroll and like comment, set a timer on your phone. I do that. I have to do that. Like, this is my job. It's literally my life. And I do have boundaries with social media. So I will set timers if I'm going on and scrolling and looking at stories or whatever. 15 minutes. Okay. You better make it the best 15-minute Instagram scroll ever, and then you're off.
Amen.
So there are definitely ways to make sure that you're still being productive and not letting it overtake you.
Preach. All right, you guys, have an incredible day. Any questions, certainly ask me. We've got our Facebook page all the time. I posted earlier before today's call. If you have any questions on that, we'll check it out later on. Jess is lurking. She's lurking in the bushes watching you. So any questions, hit me up, hit her up. We got a lot of people doing great things on social media. Just remember, every time you give something out, man, just put it out. Good value. It's going to change someone's life, and great things will happen. I hope you make the decision to come to the mountains, the mountain retreat. We will be working on strategy, not just tactics, strategy, not just on social media. That's part of it, but in everything we're doing for our business and to change our lives. Come get some rarefied air up in a different stratosphere in the mountains, September 26th to the 29th. Sign up. It's not too late. We still have 5 weeks, about 5 weeks to go. I just got my tickets. Get your tickets. Don't worry about it. You can sleep on my floor, Larry's floor. I see you, Larry. You'll find a roommate's floor, whatever it takes. Sleep in the lobby like I almost did in Providence the other day. So I didn't feel like driving to Foxborough, Massachusetts. Just find a way to get to the mountains. I promise you, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be awesome. So sign up. Talk to your coaches. That's open for Institute, Platinum, and P10ers. Take a look. All that information again, is on the Todd Durkin Mastermind, toddurkin.com/mastermind retreat, toddurkin.com/mastermind retreat. Sign up, register, and we're going to have a great time there. So, guys, thanks so much. Jess, again, thank you for everything that you offered today. You guys are awesome. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Later, guys.